Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first vlog of 2025. New year, same old me in my dressing room, ready to put on my face. And I'm having a haircut this week, so that's good. I've left it very, very long. I missed my haircut because I went to Australia. So the hair is starting to get very long. But thank you very much for people saying that they like my hair this length. It's not going to stay this length for long, especially the top. It's very long. So I am here doing the same skincare and the same routines all the time. I'm just finishing off my Beauty Pie Youth Bomb serum, and I like to put this on. So I just pop it in my, now I'm at this stage. It does have a little kind of like a pipette, but I am at this stage now because I've only got the tiniest amount left, and I like to use it with my tanning drops, and I'm back to using my Beauty Pie tanning drops. Let's just stick that in there at this time of year, just to kind of give me a little bit of a glow. So yeah, let's pop this on. As per usual, all the rest of the skincare is done next door in the bathroom. And actually, I'm going to have to go and run next door quickly and wash my hands, because I don't really want that kind of weird looking brown, odd tan on my hands. These Beauty Pie tanning drops are really good, really excellent. Let's just take this down a little bit. Why not? And around, just to get rid of it. So I'm just going to get rid of this and I will be back in a second. Okay, I am back and I've done my hands. So, yeah, I've just been thinking while this goes off, while I just let this sink in a little bit, I've got my notebook here. I don't know where I got this notebook for. Better Days Studio, but I've had this notebook for a long time and I've just been kind of flicking through it. The reason why I've got my notebook out is because I am thinking about content ideas for January, and it's quite nice to have it here because then I don't have to, usually when I'm doing something like doing my face, I'm always watching like a YouTube video or something, you know, something like that, a vlog from someone. And so it's nice to kind of have pen and paper. And I was just looking through this book because it is quite old. And I've just been looking through all my kind of vlogging ideas. And I've noticed that in the beginning of this book, I have got all my vlogging ideas from my gardening channel. Which is, I think this time last year, I was right in doing lots with my gardening channel because I garden by the seasons of the moon. Seasons? I garden by the phases of the moon. And yeah, I was just having a look and seeing what I was doing this time last year. I was actually doing quite a lot this time last year. I was doing lots of sowing of seeds, etc. But if I go back to the beginning of the book, the first thing that it says here in the beginning of the book, and I think I've ripped some pages out, is vlog Sweaty Betty. So, you know, I've always had these ideas of doing vlogs. I love doing vlogs. So anyhow, let's go to where we are. And thank goodness I've got a little marker here. And I am just, while I'm waiting for this serum to go into my skin with the tanning drops, I'm just going to write a few ideas for vlogs for what I'm going to do in January. And let's see how often I can get a vlog out. I'm hoping, I am hoping to get 2 out a week, but who knows? I might be able to get another little video out in between. We'll see about my time. I'm quite busy with clients this month, of course, because I've been away for 2 months. So I'm quite busy, but I will, because I enjoy it so much, I will fit it in. I'm sure I will fit it in. So I'll just do this with my handy little pen and I'll be back in a minute. Well, that was quite successful. A little bit unlike me, planning, but I said this year, 2025, I have to plan a little bit more. because my planning capabilities are not great. But anyhow, so I've got about 6 different lots of videos to do with content. So I don't know how many I'm going to get out a week. Like I said, I'm hoping to get out 2 a week. So really, you're none the wiser, because honestly, a video will come out when a video comes out. But I've got some very nice, fun content there. So that's excellent. Really, really good. Let's get back to today. So what am I going to do today? Today, I am not working, but I do have to get my therapy room ready. It hasn't been used for 2 months, and I do have to kind of give it a little bit of a clean and get rid of all. I'm just putting on my base here. And get rid of all the spiders and the bugs that have made a home in there since I've been gone. They come down the chimney in the therapy room, and they like to make a little bit of a home in there. And it doesn't really bode well with clients when they're lying on the table and something flies on top of them. So I have to do that. The other thing I want to do is start doing a little bit of kind of clearing out and cleaning as well. So maybe a beauty clear out, maybe a little bit of fashion. There's a few things I want to try on. So, you know, since I've come back from Australia, I've lost more weight. So I've lost another about 2.5 kilos since coming back from Australia, which is fantastic. I would like to lose, probably, I'm going back, I kind of go from kilos to stones all the time. Sorry, everybody, but I still kind of think, I still really think in stones and pounds, but I'm trying to kind of get onto the kilo bus, I suppose that's what you want to call it. So I would like to still lose about another 1/2 stone. If I do that, then I will be able to fit into all the clothes that I was going to sell. Oh dear. I don't know. Do you have a wardrobe or an area that you have got your fatty clothes, and do you have an area where you have your thinner clothes? I mean, I know, I definitely do. And what I do is I've got a wardrobe in one of the spare rooms, and I put my kind of clothes that don't fit me in there. And then every now and then, well, I have been for the last 6 months, I have been trying on things, and there's a few things in there that I really don't want to get rid of because they're really nice. Mr. N bought them for me, and actually there was a kind of shirt dress which I did sell with, and I had every intention of losing weight. I was already smaller, and I had every intention of losing weight to fit in it, and of course I never did. Anyhow, I sold that. I think I sold that on eBay. So that's gone. Yes, so beauty clear out as well. I mean, you know, it's always, for me, January is always a time that I kind of get into the beauty clear out. And fashion clear out. I would like to go into the garden. I would have loved to have gone into the garden today. But it's absolutely bucketing down. There's flooding everywhere. So yesterday I took Mr. N to the airport because he's off on his first job for 2025. The standing water on the road was actually, especially on the motorway, was actually quite dangerous. There were quite a few people that were speeding and that were kind of slipping and sliding all over the place as well. So that wasn't very good. And yeah, so we've had so much rain. Luckily, we haven't had the snow that the rest of the country has had, which is, it's because it's come over from the west and we're on the east coast. So yeah, gardening, I won't be able to do that. I'm going to pop in a little video on this vlog of me clearing out my big greenhouse, actually, because I did that last week. And I'm going to add that to this vlog because you can just have a look. I just explained my greenhouse situation that I've got in the garden and what I garden with. So that's going to go into the vlog at some point in time. So if you think to yourself, what's she talking about? This weather's terrible. And then you see this really sunny day. That was not today. That was another day. But like I said, I talked to you about what I do in the garden because the garden is actually a really big part of our lives. Yeah, and yeah, that type of thing. And then the other thing is I've already mentioned to you, if you haven't watched already, my video on my 5 essential health habits for 2025. That was the video that I've just done before this one. So go and you have a look at that if you want to. I will also link it below if you want to have a look. One of them is not eating highly processed, ultra processed food. So what I'm going to do today, and that is a definite, is I'm going to make myself another, granola. But this time I have 2 recipes for granola. I don't know whether you like granola. If you do, you might want to check out the recipes. I have a granola recipe that is my kind of stock standard recipe, and that uses grain. So that uses oats. That's the grain I'm talking about. But a lot of people don't eat grain, and they don't eat because of gluten. And I have another recipe, another granola recipe that is gluten-free and grain-free. And I am going to make that today. So that will get filmed definitely today. And the recipe will be on my website. There we are. We're nearly ready here for everything else. And yeah, so I'll just get on and put on my face. I'm going to ring my mum in a minute. Then I'm off to the supermarket to get a few bits and pieces for dinner and lunch. And I want to get a little bit ahead with the rest of my week because I'm very busy this week with clients, as I mentioned. And I will see you very, very soon. Bye. Today I have received my fortnightly Freddie's flowers, which is always really lovely. I absolutely love flowers in the house. I love plants in the house. I love flowers in the house. So going through, well, quite a few companies that deliver flowers, I do have some favorites, and one of my favorites is Freddie's Flowers. They come in a box like this, a long box like this, and then in the box it is all very interesting, tells you, you know, how to water it, how to feed it. You always get some food, some Freddie Flowers food. You trim off the ends, then you get your flowers here, and then you get a little instruction manual. You're told what flowers you are given, how many of each, and there's an instruction manual of how to style your flowers and put them in the vase. And I have just been doing this. I'm nearly finished with the flowers this week, and they have some of my favorites in there, like stocks. I absolutely love the smell of stocks. There's a beautiful kind of creamy white rose and some statice. Statice is a fabulous thing. It's this purple thing here because it stays forever. I don't know whether you can hear. Can you hear that? It's like a kind of waxy flower, and there's some lilies in the middle. So I'm going to continue to put these in the vase and then put them in the sitting room, and they will just bring me a little bit of joy thinking about the springtime. So I'm back in my gardening gear, which is a little bit looser. Well, actually it's a lot looser because I am actually double fleeced with my thermals on underneath. And these trousers, so I've got some gardening trousers that I got from a company called Genus. I'm going to put a link below because if you are a gardener and you like to garden on your knees, then these trousers are fantastic because they have a built-in knee pad. They're really good. They're also, I think these are their winter trousers because they're fleecy lined as well. I have them in 2 sizes. So I've got them in this size, which is the bigger size, which are now too big on me, and I have them in a smaller size. So I'm
going to go back to the smaller size. But today is a beautiful day when you are actually inside. You can see that the sun is behind me. It's really gorgeous, but boy, is it cold. It is currently 2 degrees here. So we did have a frost this morning. It was, yeah, quite heavy. It froze most things, lots of water in little receptacles. And I'm not going for a walk today. Instead, I am doing my activities here in my big greenhouse. So I'm going to introduce a lot more of the garden this year because I have got a lot more interest in the garden this year. I used to have an allotment, which was just across the road from me. I have given that up now, and now I'm going to spend all my time and my efforts in the garden. I have 2 greenhouses here. This one is actually purpose built. This I didn't build it, but someone else built it. Actually, a client of mine built it about 3 years now, 3 or 4 years ago, and it is big. And this is a wonderful greenhouse. I also have another greenhouse, which is an 8-foot by 6-foot greenhouse as well. This one retains the heat better because I have this wall behind me. Behind here is our garages. And I also have raised beds in the garden for my growing of my veg. When I had the allotment, I was actually, I would say about 90% self-sufficient. Now I don't have the allotment. I can't grow as much, but I can still grow the amount, all the different types of vegetables that I grow. As you saw, if you watched my vlogs back when I was in Australia with my mum grows all her veg, and I come from a European family, so I was kind of brought up with growing lots of fruit and vegetables. We always had a vegetable garden wherever we lived. We always had fruit trees as well, and I've kind of taken it with me. I love being outside. I love putting my hands in the soil. I've talked about grounding before, being outside with nature. This is the whole exercise thing that I was talking about in my health video that I posted. And it's just fabulous. I really, really enjoy it. I come out here probably for about an hour or 2, depending on the time that I've got. But whilst we've got this daylight, I try to get outside as much as possible. I also have some veggie pods. If you don't know what a veggie pod is, I'll show you as we go along through the season. They're just really a raised bed up on casters, and they've got a lid over the top of them. So I do a lot of vegetable growing, and not only do I love doing it, it's also the whole organic thing. Sorry about my hair. As well, everything that I grow is organic. I know what I'm growing. There's no nasties in anything, and yeah, I just love it. So if you are interested in gardening and you are interested in growing anything, just let me know, because I have been doing this a long time. And I also have an Instagram profile, which is my gardening profile, and it's called Susie B Living. So that is all to do with my gardening and some recipes as well, more seasonal recipes. On Susie B Lifestyle, it's more healthy recipes, etc., etc. But if you are interested, let me know, and I'll send you the links, and I will also link all my Instagram stuff down below as well. So now today in this big greenhouse, this is where I normally grow my tomatoes. I am going to take down, you can see these are all the old tomatoes here. Some of them are still on the vine. I have not been in this greenhouse since I got back from Australia, so it's all a little bit, you know, raggedy, and everything needs to go on the compost. And I am going to clear this out today. I have a gravity-fed watering system in here. I leave it set up for the winter because when I take out my tomatoes from the pots from the gravity-fed system, I plant in the winter. And yesterday I went through all my seeds, because at this time of year you can actually sow things that are hardy, like Asian and Oriental leaves. So I went through all my seeds, I worked out what I'm going to sow, and I'm going to sow some in here. I'm going to go some in the veggie pods as well, and then I will be able to have some, I suppose, salad leaves when they're small, or larger leaves as well. I'm talking about things like pak choi, or bok choy, if you want to call it that. Things like mustards as well, little leaf mustards, and all the Asian leaves. So there's things like Mitsuna, Mispuna as well, and I'm going to sow all of those. I'm also going to sow a few peas, because I want some early peas as well, and I'm going to sow the dwarf variety peas. So if you are interested in peas this year to sow, yes, you can sow them, not only for pea shoots, but you can also sow them for dwarf peas, which is peas in the pods. Go for something that says extra early or early. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on and do it now, and then I'm going to go inside and I'll do a little bit of editing. Mr. N is inside singing. I can hear him singing, and I know that he has marinated some chicken for our curry tonight. That's it. Bye.
Well, as you can see, I've lost the light. It's dark outside. It's about 5 o'clock now, and I'm just getting around to doing my granola. I've been quite busy today doing other things, but I didn't film, which is a bit ridiculous of me. I'll have to film the rest of the stuff at another time. Anyhow, my granola, let's talk about this. So like I mentioned, I've got 2 recipes for granola. I have my normal stock standard recipe, which has got oats in, and that is on my website. And this granola that I'm going to make now doesn't have any grain in it. So if you're gluten-free or grain-free, then this is a perfect recipe for you. One thing that I just warn you about is, and this is a follow-up to my health video that I put, my last video was my healthy tips for January. And if you didn't watch that, then hello, I'm Susie, if you're new to the channel, and I am a therapist. I am an Ayurvedic therapist. I know I say this a lot, but I do actually get a lot of new people watching my videos, so I have to kind of reintroduce myself all the time. I'm sorry to people who already watch me and know this. So one of my big things, and one of the big things about Ayurvedic medicine is it is all really about how the gut works. And I've noticed actually that this year in particular, all the media, all the newspapers, magazines have really now jumped on the bandwagon of gut health and microbiome. So if you, that's why I'm coming to this. I keep digressing, sorry. If you do have an issue with your gut, with your stomach, and you have what I call a compromised system, which means that you don't digest well. So for instance, constipation, that's the first thing. Or the opposite. So if you get irritable bowel, which is then on the diarrhea side, things also like Crohn's disease, celiac obviously for the gluten, diverticulitis, any kind of bloating from either end. So if it's in the large intestine, then it'll be the old what the kids call trumping. If it's the stomach, then it's the burping. Burping isn't too bad. That's not a bad thing. What else? Any kind of pain, any kind of discomfort, anything like that. So if you do have a compromised system, and I would say with people that walk through my therapy door, most people over, it's getting younger now, 25. Most people over 25 have got some kind of issue with their digestive system. And most people don't think it's a problem. However, the older you get, it does become a problem. Believe me, it becomes a problem. So let's go. I'm going back to the granola yet again. So if you do have a compromised system and you have problems digesting things, so you have problems with raw food, or you have problems with nuts. This is what I'm getting at. I'm getting at nuts. When I used to get diverticulitis, and I used to get it quite a lot because I was constipated for quite a long time. Before I became an Ayurvedic therapist, I went down the whole route of trying to lose massive amounts of weight, doing it through, in my opinion, silly diets. I think I've probably done every single diet available to lose weight fast as well. And I took no notice of what was happening in my gut. Like I said, I was constipated most of the time. I had diverticulitis, which is very, very painful. A lot of bloating, all that kind of business. When I became an Ayurvedic therapist, I really knuckled down on my gut health, and that meant my microbiome. Now, this is a word that you will probably hear a lot about now in January, because again, most people are on the bandwagon of the microbiome. And microbiome is the bacteria that lives in both your small intestine and your large intestine. Now, if you are depleted of this microbiome and this bacteria, and that could be for a number of reasons. It could be that you are you've had antibiotics, lots of antibiotics, that sometimes the microbiome is a little bit temperamental when you're pregnant, when you're on something like the contraceptive pill. So if you have had any of those things, then your microbiome may not be at its optimum. And therefore, if you eat things like nuts, you are going to have an issue. So when you read information about diets that talk about including lots of nuts in your diet for good fats, just be careful, because if you get a flare-up of irritable bowel or diverticulitis or anything like that, and you're wondering why because you're on a really healthy diet, it's probably two reasons. You're probably eating too much raw stuff, and that means salads, lots of salads, and you're probably eating too many nuts. That's one thing to look at, or two things to look out for. I always mention this to my clients a lot, because they'll say, oh, you know, I went on this diet and, you know, I'm eating really healthy, but my gut, I'm bloated, constantly bloated. And it's probably because of those things. So what I recommend is, when you are going to make this granola, cut the nut intake down quite a lot. And just go for things like your fruits, your dried fruits, or if you aren't gluten intolerant, go and do my other granola, which is the one with oats. The reason why I make granola and the reason why I make my food is, if you watched my video on health, it's all to do with what the ingredients that is in all this packaged food. There are quite a few companies that are pretty clean with their granolas, and they're really good. They usually are the ones that are just a little bit more expensive, but the other stock standard granolas that you can get, like nut clusters and all that kind of stuff, are first of all, they're loaded in sugar, and secondly, they're loaded in chemicals that actually stop them from sticking together, first of all, like an caking agent, or it's for shelf life as well. And okay, this granola will last for quite a while, but it will eventually, you know, not be edible. But I will eat it, you know, don't worry, it'll be eaten before anything is wrong with it. The other thing is refined sugar. Refined sugar is white sugar, anything that has been over refined. So caster sugar and granulated sugar is refined sugar. And then you start getting degrees of in-betweens of refined sugar. I am refined sugar free now, so I don't eat it. I mean, of course, if someone's going to offer me something, I'm not the type of person I used to be, but I'm not the type of person that's really dogmatic and now will say, no, I'm not going to have that. I don't eat things like that. I'm not like that anymore. If someone offers me something, I'll say, yes, I'll have a taste, or or I will explain to them that I don't eat refined sugar, so can I just have a little amount? Because now when I do have anything that has refined sugar in it, I react in a way that I feel a little bit nauseous, I feel a little bit sick, and I don't like that really sweet taste. So the way that I sweeten my granola is through the dried fruit. That's the only way that I do it. And I've just got some spices here. So let me just show you what I'm putting in my granola. I've got dried apricots. I've got medjool dates here. These are going to be chopped up. So they're the first things that are going to be chopped up. Then I start adding my nuts and so I've got coconut, I've got desiccated coconut, I have mixed nuts, I've got pumpkin seeds, I've got sunflower seeds, then I have excuse me, my spices. So I'm using cinnamon, and I'm also going to use some mixed spice because I like that sweet mixed spice. I like it at this time of year. I'm putting vanilla extract in there. And then to kind of give it a little bit of binding agent, I'm using coconut oil. This then all goes into the oven and it cooks. And then at the end of it, I'm adding some goji berries that I really, really like. And I've got some hemp seeds as well. They go in at the end. And that is my granola. That is completely gluten-free. Like I said, if you want to take the nuts out, take the nuts out and don't do that. Seeds are a little bit better. Again, the bigger the seed, like if you're going to do pumpkin seeds, they might cause you a little bit of an issue, but they don't usually bloat you as much as nuts do. So I'm going to get on and get this in the oven and then get on to my next task, which is just preparing a few other bits and pieces for me in the week so that I have some things to eat in between clients. That's what I'm going to do. Let's get on. My hair done this morning, as you can see. I mean, it's not as severe as my hair used to be a year ago, but yeah, I don't have the peroxide on my hair anymore. It's just highlights, so that's good. Anyhow, I am fighting the light again this afternoon, and I wanted to do a little unboxing with you, and also I wanted to recommend a few books that, that I've been interested in, especially since I have gone on my kind of health kick 6 months ago. A few of these books I've reread and reread and reread. And the other reason why I'm giving you a few book recommendations is because I've had quite a few questions from people about my kind of protocol that I have adapted or adopted so that I could get healthier at my age. And I'm just going to remind you again, I have to keep reminding myself because I don't feel my age. I am 56 years old. I am going through the perimenopausal state hormonally.
Let me just think. I am a size 16 to 18, more 16 now, UK. I'm 5'10", and in the last 6 months, I have lost 2 stone. So I'm not doing too badly. There are a few dresses still in my cupboard, in my kind of thinner cupboard, that I want to get into, and they're just a little bit tight still on the top. So what I've done now is I've actually kicked up my health plan, and I'll tell you about this another time. I won't talk about it now because I want to talk about these books and I want to do this unboxing with you. And that then will actually get me another half a stone off. I could really do with I could lose definitely another stone. I don't know what stone is in kilos. So I've lost about 11, 12 kilos, if you do kilos. And I have done it through no dieting. I don't feel as though I have denied myself anything at all, because I eat proper food, and I am definitely not dogmatic, because I have been dogmatic in the past. And when I say dogmatic, someone asked me this morning, they said, what does dogmatic mean? It means that there is no other way. So I remember when I was vegan, I would look up, if we ever wanted to go out to eat, I started getting stressed immediately, because I thought back then vegans weren't really in. And I used to go online, I used to look at the menu, I would ring up the restaurants, I would ask them for their menu, and then I would just stress out. That is what dogmatic is. Anyhow, we're not doing dogmatic. Okay, let us start. So I want to talk about this book here. And this is kind of, I suppose, where it all started with me. I've got it on my Kindle here. Most of my books are on my Kindle because I like to take them with me. I like to take many, many books with me when I travel. And I took all of these to Australia with me. I do have some hard copies as well, but a lot of them on my Kindle. So the first book here, and this is the updated version of this book, is called Spoon-Fed by Tim Spector. And this is a book about why almost everything we've been told about food is wrong. He talks a lot about how we are sold food from companies and what they tell us about food. So, for instance, when we were told that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, the studies that were done were all sponsored by, of course, Kellogg's. Makes sense, doesn't it? Tim Spector is a gut health expert, and you know how I love anything to do with the gut. And he talks about the microbiome as well, which is really important for the gut and what makes us healthy. And it is a really interesting book mainly about what we are told. So for instance, remember back in the day, we were told that salt was really bad for us. He talks about that, and fats were really bad for us. And remember those pyramids that we used to get the plate, and we would have it all sectioned out as to what we should be eating on the plate. He talks about that, and he talks about how all of those things were either sponsored by a food company, and all the studies were done from food companies and big conglomerates, I'm talking. And it's very interesting because I noticed that the key phrase for January 2025 is to limit your ultra-processed food. Now, if you go back and if you've watched my 5 healthy
habits for 2025, I mentioned that is one of my healthy habits that I have been adopting more and more and more. It's not been difficult for me because I do grow most of my veg, so that's fine. And I do kind of source my meat from reputable sources as well. And I'm not really I was never really brought up on packets and tins. It just never happened in our household. So that is the first book here. So the next book, I have got a hard copy of it somewhere, and I think I've lent it to someone. I think I know who it is. So I'm going to get it back because I want to read that again. And it is called The Glucose Revolution. And it is by an author called Jessie, let me get her name right, Inchauspe. I think that's right. So she also has an Instagram account called The Glucose Goddess, and it's worth having a look at because glucose spikes are really quite important to the way we feel during the day, and also if you suffer from putting weight on quite a lot. When we have glucose spikes, we get a little bit of a high, but then we get the drop. Tim Spector talks a little bit about that, but Jessie in her Glucose Revolution talks a lot about that. So first of all, she explains about glucose and how it works in our body, and how every time we eat something, our glucose lifts. It talks about being insulin resistant, and that is when you start to become pre-diabetic, and there are a lot of people who are pre-diabetic who then go on to be diabetic. She also talks about, she doesn't talk about taking stuff out of your diet. She talks about things like if you are going to eat something that's going to spike your glucose, eat something else with it. So for instance, if you're going to have a big carby meal, she says have something green with it as well, which works really well. She also talks about the importance of exercise, obviously after having a big glucose spike as well. And I know a lot of diabetics do that as well. So if they have had something that is quite heavy on the carbohydrate and the starch and the sugar, they then exercise. They'll go to the gym, they'll go for a walk, they do something to start stabilizing themselves again. So that is the Glucose Revolution. Okay, so just going to move a little bit away from food at the moment and that side of things. And I was just thinking about a client that I had yesterday, and we were talking about asthma. And I noticed that this person's diaphragm was really tight. And I talked a little bit, so this person is in their late 70s. And I talked about their asthma. They've had asthma all their life since they were little. But what I noticed was their breathing wasn't right. And because of the tight diaphragm, everything was very, very shallow. And it made me think about this particular book. This book is by a guy by the name of James Nestor, and it is a very simple title. It is called Breath. Being an ex-opera singer, I kind of feel as though I know quite a lot about breathing. But reading this book was really interesting because it went from a whole physical side of breathing and how to breathe and what muscles you use to breathe to the more kind of way it works mentally with you for your mental health as well. It is called Breath, the New Science of a Lost Art. It is really interesting, and I've highlighted I've read it already and I'm going to reread it again. I've highlighted quite a few passages in there because it does talk about, as a singer, I always endorse breathing through the mouth because it releases the larynx, it releases the whole sternum. But he actually talks about breathing through the nose a lot more. Now, there are a lot of people that can't breathe through their nose because they are blocked all the time. And that really takes quite a habit to unblock that. You can do it. I did it. I used to be much more nasal than I am now. Am I still nasal? Because a lot of Australians are very nasal when they speak. But as a singer, I learned to unblock all of that. It took a long time, and but it worked. And so, yeah, so he talks about the value of that kind of breath and how you're not really dipping into carbon dioxide. And it's really, really an interesting book. So I highly recommend that one as well. So I've got 2 more books to recommend. One is, this one here is by Dr. Peter Attia. And it's called Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity. And in this book, he talks about not living longer, but being healthier living longer as well. And what you can do now in your life to benefit you for later life. I see a lot of clients coming to me. I do talk about my clients a lot. Sorry if any of you are my clients. I'm really, really sorry. But it is really interesting because that's my job and that's what I see a lot of. A lot of people come to me with lots of ailments and lots of issues, and they've kind of left it a little bit late. I always say it's never too late to make a right decision and a good decision. I always say that. But when you have something that's chronic, and when I say chronic, I mean that it's been around a long time and you haven't dealt with it, or you deal with it through just taking I don't know, a supplement or a drug, it's going to come a knocking later on in life. So this book is really, really interesting. I've not read it yet. I have listened to Dr. Peter Attia on one of my favorite podcasters, who's Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. And it was very, very interesting, the interview that they did together. So I'm really looking forward to reading that this year, this book. And the other one that I talk about all the time, and I'm not going to forget it now, is Mr. Chris Van Tulleken, and it is called Ultra Processed People. I absolutely love this book. I read this again on the way to Australia here. I'm just trying to look for the, get the title of it up here so you can see it properly. I just think it's absolutely, it's just fascinating. And again, he talks about how everything is processed. There's a loaf of bread there, just to give you a heads up. And I tell you what was interesting. Dr. Chris Van Tulleken, he did a series over Christmas for children, and it was all about food and how we metabolize food and how we eat and what we're eating. And it was really, really fun. And really, there were 3 parts, I think there were 3 parts to it. And I watched every single bit of it and I absolutely loved it. And again, a lot of people walk through my door and they have no idea how their bodies work. So it was really quite fun. I mean, you know, if you don't want to go through the whole fun things that kids go through, then you can always fast forward it. But there's some really good information on there. So that is my last book. And I think that Ultra Processed People is something that is, again, on the bandwagon this year, because ultra processed food is getting a bad rap, so to speak, I must say. These companies that make this food, wow, I mean, I don't think they'll ever lose muster, will they? So that is a few book recommendations. If you've got any other books that you're interested in, or if there's anything that you've read that has been really interesting, it doesn't have to be food or health or anything like that, just anything that you've read that you recommend. I'd love to know, because I'm always looking for something to read. I'm not a real fiction reader, but if it was something really great, then I might read it. But I really do like educational books because I'm always, you know, interested in learning. Okay, so this arrived in the post and I had a little sneaky peek. This is the wellness box from Boots, would you believe? From Boots. It costs £35. It is very heavy. And yeah, as I said, I had a little sneaky peek. It's great. It really is great. So it's in a very nice hard box. You can reuse the box for, you know, I reuse it for all my kind of cosmetics and everything else that I hoard. And it has all of this stuff in it. Now, there's no packaging in here at all. This is all product. And there's some really, really great things in here. The first thing that is on top is a tablet, a supplement for mind and mood support, which is called Nighties. There, and it has lemon balm and it has a little bit of lavender in it as well, and B vitamins. Okay, so because I know a thing or two about all of this stuff, I don't have to kind of look it up. I know that lemon balm is a wonderful thing. I mean, I have got it in the garden. Once it's in the garden, it self-seeds absolutely everywhere. It not only does it smell wonderful, but when you use it in a tea form, and they've obviously put it in supplement form here, it's really good for stress. It calms the system down, and in a tea form, it's lovely. If you like that kind of lemony flavor, it's absolutely lovely. It's got, and then, you know, lavender's nice and calming as well. B vitamins. I think the B vitamins are really important for us to take that way because they are water soluble, and water soluble means that once you have any B vitamins within, you wee them out. Usually the tablet you usually get with a B vitamin complex is like an orange tablet, and your wee goes orange. B vitamins and C vitamins are important because they are water soluble. So that's a nice little thing there. This here, aha, look at this, Good Gut, live friendly bacteria. And it has a picture of your gut on there. That's fantastic. Bacteria, so you have biotic cultures in there, and it's for mental focus as well. So the importance of keeping the microbiome or the bacteria in the gut working and yum, 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 eating everything and, you know, working really well also helps your mind. I must say that since I have cleaned up my, I'm not going to say diet, my food intake, since I've cleaned it up, and also I do intermittent fasting, my mind is much clearer. I don't get any, I used to get a little bit of brain fog, but that was mainly when I was drinking alcohol. But I don't get brain fog at all with any menopause or perimenopause issues. And I put it down to what's going on in the old gut. Next, collagen, another buzzword, collagen. So we've got a collagen extreme, and we've got a collagen forte ageless, and it's liquid collagen to take. I'd have to put my glasses on to see exactly where the collagen is from, what it's from, but there's two collagen liquid supplements there. Collagen's huge. I take collagen in a powdered, no, I've got to take it to, yeah, it's powdered. So I've got collagen just in a jar that I mix in drinks, and I also have my collagen and cacao as well as a drink, and that is from Ancient and Brave. Next, hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is a very interesting thing because it hydrates tissue, let's say. So in the skincare industry, it's used as a topical thing on the skin, but you can also take the stuff, and it's great for joints. It's great for the stomach as well. Good stuff. Love hyaluronic acid. Here are some electrolytes. Again, I take Ancient and Brave electrolytes. When I went to Australia, I took some other electrolytes along, and they weren't these, they were similar to these, and these are in little sachets. Electrolytes, you know, if you watched my video on the 5 tips, 5 healthy habits, my first healthy habit was hydration. It seems crazy. I know that we all say, oh, you've got to drink more water, you've got to drink more water, but
Again, I had a client yesterday, and well, most of my clients are dehydrated. And I keep saying, you know, you're a little dehydrated. When you start seeing it in your skin, imagine what's going on inside for it to be coming out in the skin. Electrolytes helps deliver everything else that you need with your water. What's this? A protein bar. I'm not big on protein bars. I'd have to see what the ingredients are. Mainly because, and I'm not, mind you, it is vegan friendly. I'll have to have a look at this and see exactly what is in there. It says it's a plant-based protein bar. I tell you why I'm not big on protein bars. This is going to be, sorry everyone, this is going to be quite a long video, but get me onto this stuff and I will just go on and on and on. Whey protein, so protein that comes from whey, milk product, is not necessarily great for women who are going through the menopause. I'm just going to throw that out there. So you would be better off getting a plant protein, and I'm talking about protein powders here. Most protein powders that you can pick up that are, you know, cheap, are made with whey protein, W-H-E-Y protein. It's a cheap byproduct that you can get. The more expensive ones are made with plant-based protein, and that's usually from pea. Pea protein is a really good one. I'm assuming that this is what this is, which is fine. But if you are doing these shakes with protein powder in them and you are not losing weight, which a lot of these protein powders say that you know, after a certain age, especially women and men, we need a lot more protein in our diet. Think again about what protein you're taking. Is it whey protein or not? I don't do whey protein. So the next thing is Sambucol. Sambucol is elderberry. It's a brand that uses elderberry, and these are gummies. Again, I'm not a big gummy lover because it has sugar in it, but again, I will have to have a look at the ingredients and see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, glucose syrup. When you're reading a label on anything, they always list what is most in the product first. Does that make sense? So for instance, the first thing that is listed here is glucose syrup. The second thing that is listed is sugar. So for me, I do that because that means that in this product, the biggest ingredient, I can't really explain it, is glucose syrup and sugar. 2 lots of sugar. Then we have vitamin C and ascorbic acid. So I understand that you want things to taste nice, but I would just much rather the vitamin C and the elderberry. Yeah. They're not for me. Okay, so the next thing is, a pillow spray. That's nice. Called Feather and Down Pillow Spray. It's lavender and chamomile essential oils. I do like a pillow spray. That's quite nice. It's a bit of indulgence. So the next thing is zinc and magnesium. So magnesium, again, is a huge minefield because magnesium is not just magnesium. Magnesium comes in all different forms, and every magnesium is different for the body. So there are magnesiums for the gut, there are magnesiums for the joints, there are magnesiums for everything. So again, if you are going to go into the whole magnesium minefield and you want some magnesium, do a little bit of research on it. If you are interested in any of these vitamins, minerals, anything like that, and you want any more information, let me know, because I would be very, very happy to do a dedicated video on something like magnesium or collagen or anything, or protein powders. So just let me know, drop us a line below. I'd be very happy to do it. I'd be very happy to put it in my vlogs as well. But this is zinc and magnesium. It doesn't tell you, so this, it says with magnesium, which contributes to the reduction of tiredness and fatigue. What magnesium is it? It doesn't tell you what magnesium it is. So, I mean, it's fine to take, but it's not very specified. This is something that I love, and that is the Weleda Skin Food. This is the light one. And actually, I should have given this to Mr. N when he went away because he's using the heavy one, but I think he would go on and do really well. If you don't use Skin Food, look, I have a Skin Food, Weleda Skin Food tube everywhere. I use it on my face, I use it on my elbows, I use it on my cuticles, I use it on my feet, I use it everywhere. It is the best stuff. I absolutely love it. What have we got here? It's called Vidrate, Hydration Enhanced with more electrolytes. More electrolytes. That's on the bandwagon too. Again, now if you're going to take electrolytes, be careful of the amount of sugar that is in here. Why didn't I put my glasses on and I'm looking for the ingredients? All natural ingredients. Ingredients, here we go. So the first thing that is in here is, I can't say it, fructooligosaccharides, which is sugar beet soluble fiber. That's the first thing that's in here, is sugar again. See what you find, see what's in stuff? Amazing. What do we got here? Vegan hair care. Oh, these are more gummies, but this is hair care. So this has reishi and chaga and snow. These are all mushrooms. So I'm gonna have to have a look at the ingredients in here. And I'm now gonna go and get my glasses because I need to read these properly. Here's my glasses. Right, let's go. Reishi mushrooms, chaga mushrooms, and snow mushrooms. So mushrooms, again, are another big thing that are coming on the bandwagon. Mushrooms, different mushrooms are quite good medicinally. They increase your brain power to a certain extent. The only thing with mushrooms is be very careful. I mean, they're not magic mushrooms. Hopefully you're not going to die from them, but they can be a little bit toxic to the system. So you have to make sure that you get your mushrooms from a reputable company. And in here is a sachet from a reputable company, but I'm just looking here. This is called Nourish Imarai Beauty. Right, let's look at the ingredients. The first thing in here is soluble corn fiber. And so do you know what that is? Soluble corn fiber is another form of sugar. What is wrong? What is wrong with this? What is wrong with people that they just have to have sugar in everything? Mind you, I did say at the beginning that I was quite impressed with this, this box from Boots. Well, to a certain extent, but there is actually quite a lot of sugar in stuff here. Then we have water. Then we have natural fruit flavors. Then there's bulking agent. We haven't even got to any mushrooms yet. Oh no. Oh no. Oh dear. Okay, might not be doing that one. Right. This product I will be doing because I love it. So this is the Bark Rescue Remedy. I took this to Australia. Oh, now I have to look at these ingredients. I took this to Australia because Bark Rescue Remedy is something that I used to use when I was a singer, and it was for like stage nerves. And I love it. I also like the oh, see, it worries me when it says that it's orange and mango flavor. I do like they have a sleeping one as well, a night one, and it's very, very good. So the ingredients in here are glycerin, water. Again, do we need that? Natural olive flavor. Do we need that? I don't know whether we need that. Bach flower. Anyhow, there you go. Now, I was saying to you about a company that I recommend, I definitely recommend for mushrooms, and that is a company called Dirtea. I do like their blends are great. Oh gosh, now saying that, I'm going to be looking in these ingredients, and please don't prove me wrong, folks. No, they don't prove me wrong. Dirtea, they have got fantastic products and all to do with their mushrooms. So the first ingredient in this, oh, and by the way, this is their matcha ceremonial grade Dirtea. And the first thing in here is lion's mane extract. And lion's mane is that really ugly looking white fluffy mushroom. And then the next one is tremella extract. Again, another fungus that's pretty not that great looking. Then they have matcha powder. Oh, thank you very much, Dirtea. We like Dirtea very, very much. Now here is another, so you know this first product that I had here, which was the Mind and Mood Support. These, I'm looking at all the ingredients now. This is a roll-on that they have, which is lavender and orange, which is the stress and tension support roll-on. I like these roll-ons. Again, I took one to Australia. I took a Neil's Yard one to Australia, and I sometimes use it before I go to bed. And the last thing in here is a greens complex. I don't mind these greens. You put them in smoothies, you can have them in water, you can have them however you want. And again, I am looking at what they have in here, and it looks as though they've got some good stuff in here as well. It is by the Vegan Wellness Company. I can see this without my glasses. So the first thing they have is wheatgrass powder, barley grass powder, they have spirulina, they have coconut water powder, spinach leaf powder, nice things in here. And then when they go to sweeten it, they use something like stevia. So stevia is actually a plant, and you use the leaves as sweetener. I'm not sure that there's been a lot of study out there to see whether it spikes your glucose level or not. I don't know about that. I would have to look that up. But stevia is a very good alternative to refined sugar. So that is it. So out of this, there's quite a few things that I would use, definitely. I would use the pillow spray, the hyaluronic acid, the greens are good. The Dirtea, definitely. Let me look at these electrolyte powders. A little bit too much sugar in the old electrolytes. This is good. The friendly bacteria is very good for me. Of course, Weleda. The magnesium and zinc, that would be okay. These two products as well, which is the night product here. The collagen. Now let me look at the collagen. What else have they got in here now? This is really small. Yes, this is fine. This has just got marine collagen in it. That's good. Yes, so there's lots of, there's only a few things that I wouldn't have, like the gummies. The gummies, you know, this is one thing. If you can't swallow tablets, like my mum has gummies in a lot of forms because my mum has a problem swallowing tablets. She can swallow those tiny, tiny little ones, those kind of like little with oil in, the little pearls. She can do that, but she can't swallow other tablets. Then gummies are really, you know, good alternative if you want to do that. I'm just putting all the stuff here that I wouldn't use. Oh, there's quite a bit that I would. I have to look at this. I've got to look at this. Let me look at this protein bar while we're here, if you don't mind. Pea protein. Yes, there we are. So they use pea protein in this. So pea protein, like I said, is really good for protein if you're going to use a powder protein. Pea protein is like a soya protein, and it's much better than whey protein, especially if you're menopausal, because like I said, you might find that you are actually putting weight on rather than taking weight off because you can't metabolize it properly. There are a few other things in here like chocolate and stuff like that, so I might give that to someone else. But here we are. That's very good. Well done, Boots. Good job. not too bad at all. I don't normally buy any supplements from Boots at all. I usually buy them from another company, and I'll talk about that at another time. And that's it. And I've lost the light. As you can see, there's a bit of a shadow out there. The days are getting longer, I must say, because the light is just hanging on a little bit longer. But yeah, it's about finding the light all the time to do filming. There we are. I am going to go and have I tell you what I'm going to have. I'm going to have my matcha dirt tea. I do like this company. They're great. All right. I'll see you later. Bye. I'm sitting in the car waiting for the windscreen to defrost. I can't be bothered scraping it. Actually, I went out yesterday when I went to have my hair done. I scraped it, and it's not too bad today, so that's okay. And the sun is out, as you can see. So I am actually going to finish the vlog this morning because this vlog has taken a few days to make, and I'm going to finish it this morning. Thank you for joining me again. My name's Susie B, and this is Susie B Lifestyle. Now that I've kind of gotten back into the vlogging side of things, I'm hoping to get more than one vlog out a week. I'm hoping to get 2 vlogs a week. So bear with me while I get back into vlogging after the whole Christmas and New Year festivities and time that I've taken off. It is, like I said, a beautiful day here today in Lincolnshire. I'm just off to the supermarket. I've been changing, I mentioned that I've been changing my diet, and I am now shaking things up a little bit because I want to lose another half a stone, and so I'm doing grain free, which is quite interesting actually. And I have to get very experimental with things, but I found quite a few interesting recipes, and I've been experimenting quite a lot. So I'm off to the supermarket now to get a few more bits and pieces, and once I get my recipes up and running and what works for me, I will let you know. So I know there are a lot of people that are either gluten-free or have got celiacs or Crohn's disease, and they can't have grains at all. So you might be interested actually in what I do. So again, if you're new to the channel, hello, I'm Susie B again. And if you're not subscribing, then hit that subscribe button and you'll get updates from me constantly. Well, not so constantly, but constantly enough. I do lots of things, from fashion to beauty to health to all sorts of stuff, and I live in Lincolnshire in the UK, and I go around and find some interesting Lincolnshire things to do. And if you've got anything that you would like me to film at all, or that you're interested in, let me know. It'd be very interesting to hear from you, and I will see you all next time. See you later. Bye.